Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Unseen Tapes. Tonight, I've got a story that'll mess with your head. Something about being all alone in your own home, but not quite alone. It's one of those tales that makes you check your locks twice, maybe even peek through the curtains when you think no one's there. So settle in, turn off the lights, and listen close. Because once this story gets in your head, it might not let go. This one's called Home Alone. You know that feeling when you get left home alone? Like, really alone. No parents, no siblings. Just you and the silence in a house that suddenly feels way too big? That's exactly what happened to a guy I know. Let's call him Jake. Jake was 17, a typical high school senior. His parents had to go out of town last weekend for a business trip, and Jake was left in charge of the house for 3 whole days. His little sister was with their aunt. It was supposed to be fun. Freedom, right? No curfew, no annoying rules. Just Jake, the TV, and a fridge full of junk food. But that weekend, it turned into something he'd never forget. Or, honestly, something he barely wanted to talk about at all. The first night. So Jake's first night alone starts out pretty normal. He's binge-watching some shows, eating pizza, and blasting music through the speakers. The house is quiet except for the usual creaks and groans of an old place settling down for the night. At around midnight, Jake heads upstairs to brush his teeth before bed. That's when he hears it, a soft thump from the basement. He freezes. Now, here's the thing about old houses. They have sounds. Pipes, settling foundations, the occasional critter. But this wasn't normal. It was deliberate, like someone had just dropped something heavy. Jake shrugs it off. Probably just a box falling or a raccoon outside banging on the trash cans. He heads to bed, but can't shake the feeling that something is watching. The strange calls. The next day, Jake's texting his friends, trying to keep busy. Then, his phone rings, an unknown number. He answers. "Hello," he says. Silence. Just a low, breathy sound on the other end, like someone breathing heavily. Jake hangs up, chalking it up to a prank call. But the calls keep coming. Late at night, early morning, always silence, always heavy breathing. No one on the other end when he tries to call back. His parents tell him it's probably just kids messing around. But Jake feels something else, like he's being watched, like he's not alone. The locked doors. That night, Jake decides to lock every door and window in the house, double-checking each one like a nervous kid trying to keep the monsters out. But the front door, the big, old wooden one, won't lock properly. The latch just won't catch. No matter how hard he tries, the door stays slightly ajar. He calls his parents, but they're in meetings all day, unreachable. So he tapes the door shut with packing tape. He tries to sleep but wakes up again at 3 a.m. to a soft scratching sound coming from downstairs, the basement door. The basement door. Now, Jake's basement door had always been a little creepy. It's this old creaky wooden door at the end of the hallway. It's usually locked, and Jake rarely goes down there. But tonight, the scratching grows louder, like someone, or something, is trying to get out. He grabs a flashlight and heads down. The beam cuts through the thick darkness. He sees nothing. Just old boxes, dusty shelves, cobwebs. But then he notices something on the floor. Footprints. Not his size. Smaller and wet. Like someone had just come up the stairs. His heart pounds, but he tells himself it's rats or some animal. Still, he locks the basement door again and runs back upstairs. The power goes out. Suddenly, boom. The lights go out. Total blackout. Jake's phone battery is low. The house is silent except for his ragged breathing. He tries the flashlight, but it flickers and dies. That's when he hears it, a voice, barely a whisper, coming from the basement. Jake. His name. He freezes, sweat dripping down his forehead. Jake, come down. The voice sounds like his own, but warped. Like an echo. He runs to the front door and yanks on it, but it won't budge. The tape won't tear. It's like something is holding it shut. The reflection. Panicked, Jake looks into the hallway mirror. He catches a glimpse of movement behind him. He spins around. Nothing there. But when he looks back at the mirror, he sees a figure standing behind him. Just for a second. A pale face, sunken eyes, smiling too wide. He whirls again, empty hallway. He tries to call 911, but no signal. The final confrontation. The basement door creaks open by itself. Jake, trembling, grabs the nearest heavy object, an old metal pipe. He steps down, flashlight barely working. The basement is cold, colder than it should be. Suddenly, he sees it, a shadowy figure crouched near the far wall. It looks like him, but twisted, like a dark mirror reflection. "Why did you leave me?" it whispers. Jake's blood runs cold. "I didn't," he stammers. The figure steps closer, voice dripping with menace. "You left me alone." Scene 9. The Escape. Jake bolts up the stairs, but the basement door slams shut behind him, locking tight. He pounds on the door, screaming for help. Then, just as suddenly as it started, the power flickers back on. The front door creaks open. Jake doesn't hesitate. He runs out into the street, neighbors turning their lights on. He never goes back inside that house. So, what do you think? Was Jake just imagining things, or was something really there with him? Something lurking in the shadows when you're home alone? Next time you find yourself by yourself in a quiet house, remember Jake's story. Maybe double-check those locks, and listen closely for the sounds you can't explain. Thanks for watching Unseen Tapes. If you like this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next terrifying tale. And hey, if you have your own story about being home alone, drop it in the comments. We might just share it next time. Until then, stay safe and stay unseen.